y'all doing today?
Good.
Good to be here. All right, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I got a weird thing going on in my head. It's called, this side is all messed up, and this side is regular. So it's like an echo chamber / I don't know what's going on. Yeah, Christmas morning I woke up and I was like, yeah, Tremaine, go get your stuff, it's out there. I'm staying in bed, and I had to stay there pretty much the whole day. Then the next day I went to my doctor and gave me he agreed that my ear was pretty messed up. So looked in there and was like, yeah. So gave me a bunch of drugs, and I've been on those for the past couple of days. So we're gonna make it. But as I was coming up to the day, you'd like a good buffer. I got notes, I got things everywhere. I was like, I can come up with something to talk about real quick. I couldn't for some reason. And in my mind these days, when something like this happening, I'm thinking there's for a reason. So it's probably going to come to me when it's going to come to me. And that's exactly what happened. So last night I went to bed, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. But I went to bed at a decent time, so that was a good thing. And then I woke up at 4 o'clock. And I woke up at that magical hour of 4 o'clock with all kind of thoughts in my head. There was this theme of thoughts going. And I was like, yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, let's go back to sleep. And then I kept thinking about it, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I was like, okay, dummy. This is what you were waiting for, right? The thought in my mind came, Abraham was always saying, be ready to be ready. And I prepared myself last night, this is what you were waiting for. So I got up, got the computer, started putting it down and organizing those thoughts. And it's something that I posted on my Facebook page and my website, Facebook page. And I said that I was burdened with purpose. And this is something that I kind of, it hit me when I saw the original Avengers movie. I like all Avengers movies, but that one in particular, when Loki comes in, bad guy, he comes through, the portal and stuff, and he says, I'm burdened with glorious purpose. And I'm not going to say the glorious part, I'm not that vain. He said that about himself because he's the bad guy, he wants to do all this. But when he said that, I was like, it just kind of stuck with me. And that's what I feel like is going on with me the past few years, is I kind of discovered this path of knowledge that I seem to have to follow. I don't have a choice in it. I have to gather this knowledge from here and there and wherever it is. Just daily interaction with people is gathering knowledge for me. Driving my car from here to there, I'm going to learn something. So I see everything as an opportunity, whether I want it or not, is I'm learning something. And but those are the little things. Of course, we have the bigger things, right? So let me go back in time and kind of go over my life because it's good. I like what we came up with just a little bit ago, Gloria, to talk about. This is a time of year for reflection. And this is exactly what I'm doing right now. Because for this past year, this kind of burden with purpose theme has been on my mind. And that's all I've been doing is just focus on learning. So in looking back over my life, I kind of see how my life has played out and how I've ended up at this point. And it's very interesting to me. So when I was a little kid, about 12 years old or so, I kept seeing a commercial on TV, and they were showing JFK give a speech. And he was saying, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And that stuck with me. So at that time, I was like, yeah, America's great. I need to do something to give back to my country. And at the same time, I was seeing these Marine commercials on TV. Guys dressed blues, Marines, few the proud, all that cool stuff. I was like, yeah, that's right. So I decided at that point that was my path. And that's all I could really think of for the most part as I grew and went through school and stuff. As a junior in high school, I signed up and I joined, and then in my senior year, um, after I graduated, after I graduated, I went and shipped out to boot camp. And then I spent a long, 22 years in the Marine Corps. I spent a career. Now, I was a musician in the Marine Corps, and that kind of came about because I really couldn't decide what I wanted to do in the Marine Corps. I just knew I needed to be in it. My mindset was when I do something, I want to be the best at it. So at that point, I thought I wanted to make sure that I was always the hardest core, the baddest of the baddest, the toughest Marine, all that kind of stuff. That I could be, especially around my peers and stuff. So I put on that persona, and I wore it. Okay, I was as good as anybody at just about anything, and I excelled, as far as being a Marine, musically and Marine-wise. But I always had this itching to kind of go overseas and do what real Marines do. Because as a musician, we just did ceremonies and played, we made people smile and happy. But I was like, no, I need to go do that, Now, most of my comrades didn't want to do that, but I did, okay? So, eventually the time came, 2000, whatever, and we went, 2001, 2001, and we went over and deployed for the war and everything, and we did our job as far as the band there in the rear. Then we came home, had a year and a half break. Then we got deployed again, right, in the kind of cleanup efforts, if you want to call them. On that first deployment, I had volunteered for this thing called a reactionary force. So I had put myself purposely, this is my decision, kind of in harm's way, as opposed to the rest of us, opposed to the rest of the unit and stuff. So everyone else was back around the Command Operations Center doing security, and I had volunteered to lead and train and lead a group to kind of go out and do stuff in case it needed to be done, or to check out stuff, to keep them from coming too close to us. Because the COC, what that is, Command Operations Center, that's where the general operates, and he leads the colonels in the war and all of that stuff. So once again, I'm trying to get out there. I'm having that itch to get out there, to be Mr. Hardcore, right? This is the thing that I thought I needed to do. So this is the time where something kind of profound happened in my life. Now, I'd had other instances where things happened before that, long before that, but I kind of forgot and put it in the back of my mind. And before I joined, when I was a little kid, I kind of walked away from religion, period. Okay, so I'm gonna tie this in. I walked away from religion because a lot of it didn't make sense to me. Okay, a lot of stuff in the Baptist churches that I had gone to, just very strict rules and stuff, but then I didn't see it being followed, and I didn't see this and that, and I'm reading the Bible. So I was like, religion's not for me. And, but I didn't know what I was going to gravitate toward believing, if it was religion or something like that. I didn't know what spirituality was at all. Okay, I didn't know there was another thing. I didn't know there was other things. So at that point, I was kind of not quite atheist, but almost that. Okay, if you understand that. So, like I said, a couple of the other things that happened. So this time, on this deployment, one of our troops said, "Hey, there's this guy here who's a camel, and he's got some other guys, and we don't know what they're doing, and they're coming toward our thing." That's my cue, my guy's cue. So I get my guys, they come pick me up, we drive out there, and we got, big machine guns, light machine guns, all this kind of, and I've got these young guys who, some of them are very trigger happy. They're worse than me. They can't wait to get their combat action medal or, take somebody out and all that kind of stuff. And we're in the kind of unit that we don't really get their frontline action. So none of us were really thinking that was going to happen. So we get out there, this guy comes up, and there's this one guy, and he's got these young guys with him. You can tell they were probably in the Iraqi army before, and but now they were with him. So they were young fighting age, but he was an older guy. He was like a merchant. He had a big camel and a bunch of other things. So we pull up on them, got guns drawn and all this kind of stuff, and we're telling them, I think, get down, in their language. And so all the guys do that, except for the leader. And he's kind of looking, he's waiting to see, I can tell now, he's trying to see who the leader is in our group. So I get out, I don't have a machine gun, I just have, 9mm and stuff. And he starts coming towards me. Trying to talk. He's talking in Arabic. I want him, he's trying to make a deal or something. So I end up pointing my weapon at him and telling him to get down. Because we're afraid that, he got a bomb strapped to him or something like that. What's going to happen, right? So all my guys, especially the trigger happy ones, they're ready to take him out, before he gets too close to me. But he just keeps coming. And we're all yelling at him and stuff. And so this is the part where I'm pointing my weapon at him and I'm thinking in my head, okay, all kind of thoughts are going through my brain. I don't want to, as much as I, before now, had wanted to come out here and do what is about to happen, I don't think I really want to do that, okay? So that thought started going through my head. And then the thought was like, well, I think what he's trying to do is he's just a merchant. He's had guns pointed at him before. He's probably trying to make a deal or something like that. This is no big deal to him. But if he comes too close, I have to do something. What can I do? So that was my conversation with myself in my head. And time really slowed down as this, because I'm thinking this stuff nice and slow, and it's just like time just slowed down almost to a standstill. And then at some point, the thought in my head said, take the weapon off safe. And it was not my voice. It came right through my head. It said, take the weapon off safe. And then the light bulb went off, and it was like, oh yeah, he doesn't think I'm serious because I haven't taken it off safe. And I just, with my thumb, I took it off safe. And he dropped to his knees and dropped to the ground and just started begging, oh, I'm sorry. So, problem solved. Okay? So for me, that was a big moment as far as my belief system. I had the verification that there was something higher going on. Okay, not just me, not just this world. And at that time in my career, of course, I came to realize that no, going out here and I had the thought to deploy and be in combat arena. But no, I didn't never have the thought to want to take another person's life. And so at that point, I think in my life, I kind of turned towards, finding my true path. And that was a while ago. So by the time I retired and I went to ASU, the light bulb really went off. When in my English lit class, I started, running into these philosophers, Michel de Montaigne, Confucius, Lao Tzu, and listening to their words speak about, just reality and who we are and who we're not and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, I never heard this kind of talk before. This sounds really profound. It sounds like something I need to get into. And I really liked it, so I started studying these guys. And at that point, I started studying other things, just knowledge in general, but I started coming along spiritual teachings and things. So at that point, I started opening up to finding out more about just about everything, but mainly on a philosophical level. So around that time, I came here. That was about 5 years ago. I came here, and that was when everything opened up for me. And one of the into when I came here was the saying of when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And that was very profound for me because that was happening in my life right at that time. And it wasn't a particular person. It wasn't even this place. It was everything that I needed to know was starting to come to me all at the same time. And I was like, okay, well, that's not a coincidence, is it? You know. So, you know, and I started looking back at all the things, a lot of things that had happened in my life up to that point. And I started seeing it. It was, you know, things, I had been walked to that point, you know, and I was like, oh, you know, so I was given things or things had come to me and I wasn't really ready for them, but at a certain other time I was, and then I understood them. And that's what kept playing out in my life. So, once I started understanding that, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn any and everything and just have an open mind about it to figure out, you know, what it is I need to be doing. What's my purpose? What it is I can do. Because, you know, my reason for joining the Marine Corps was to be of service. To me, it was to the country, to, you know, country corps and all that kind of stuff that we say. When I worked at the Y, the reason was to be of service to the community. So to me, there's always something about service. But for me personally, I feel like I need to be doing something to be of service. Not to any one thing, but to mankind. I feel like I need to do that. That's the burden that I feel like I have. I need to do something to try to understand. Because what I see, you know, on a daily basis, and I watch news clips and see people's discussions, and we know what's going on in our country right now. But not only in our country, look around in the world. You got people protesting in multiple different countries right now because the situation is so bad. People with power and the money are making life hard for the people at the bottom. And it shouldn't be that way, obviously. So people are rising up and, you know, saying something about it. And that's a good thing because that's what needs to happen. But, you know, like I said, in our country, we have this thing with just conflict. It just keeps happening and keeps happening. And it seems to be getting worse. So instead of joining one side or another, I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that you can get people to come together? You know, so how many people are trying to do that? Because it seems like some of the people say they want to do that, but really they're taking a side and still trying to convince you of my idea, even though I heard your idea. You know, you know, you're trying to convince me of your idea, even though you've heard mine. You know, so the idea is like, what can I find? And I don't know if there's one thing, but once again, I know that all of these different facets of knowledge that I can dive into, it seems to form a big picture that I'm trying to bring into focus. I don't know what that is. I know it has to do with, you know, our experience here in this phenomenal universe. But it's been a joy so far, and it continues to be, to study all these different things. And, you know, so you grow up in school and we learn books, you know, from books we learn math, we learn science, we learn history, we learn geography, all that kind of stuff. But that's cool, and I went to college and I learned more of that stuff, and then business and stuff like that. But things that are non-traditional, those are the things that seem to have answers that we might not be looking at. I mean, society. So, you know, in philosophy and spirituality and yoga, and I'm not talking about just pretzel yoga, I'm talking about the real word yoga, which means spiritual path to realization. Perennial wisdom that I learned about here, through Reverend Joe Clift, and even religion. So now that I have, my thoughts of what's kind of going on, I kind of come back full circle to religion, but not as in I have one particular, but as looking at and understanding religions, all of them, as something to study. And that is something, like I said, I learned from Joe Clift, Perennial Wisdom, to study all of them, and have something, because I think that helps you understand other people, because that's one of the things that help, fans the flames of conflict. Because some religions say it's got to be this way, period. If you're on our side or you're not. It's got to be this way, period. You're on our side or you're not. And as I study these different religions, you get past that and get to the root of the religion, and it's all about love and peace and harmony. And that's something, I'm definitely going to try to do. Other things I, study psychoanalysis, Carl Jung, him and some other people that I've studied helped me to start looking within myself. So it's not just studying other things, I need to study myself. I need to look at my past and things that help cause me to be who I am, who I think I am, especially in my head. So when I got into him, starting his, studying his things, and then, stuff like the MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicators, I studied that, got my profile and stuff, and it helps you understand what the way I think and ways I need to work on it, what I can do to work on to make myself better. And that's one of the things I came to, revelations I came on to, was that if I work on myself, that makes the world better. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So if through all these things of knowledge that I found out, I can get people to work on themselves, then that will help fix the problems. And that was something that I came up with and I was like, yeah, that's what I need to try to do. So like I said, I don't have any filters as far as the things that I learn. Like I said, I don't have a religion, but I love studying all of them. I don't have a particular philosophy. I love studying all of them. But to me, there's a need to have that understanding of all of these different things in order to reach people. Because when I come to a discussion with someone, it's an open discussion in my mind. I really want to hear what that person has to say. I really want to hear why they feel that way, why they're so passionate about that idea. And a lot of times we initially get defensive. We get defensive because we have strong-held beliefs. Okay? So what I think I want to try to do is try to get to people to understand that their beliefs are not really who they are. Okay? And you're allowed to change your beliefs. But no one, especially me, is going to try to get anyone to change their beliefs. I just want you to come sit at the table with me. And that's the hard thing to try to do these days. And that's why I try to do all these different things. Even though I don't follow a particular religion, and I went away from Baptist when I was a kid, through coming here, I have a better understanding, I have a clearer understanding of who Jesus was. When you kind of have a bad taste in your mouth of religion and you walk away, then you kind of throw away the baby with the bathwater, right? Mm-hmm. But Jesus was never the problem. Okay? That's what I figured out. I was like, really? As I come to study his words and his teachings, I have a very clear appreciation for what he tried to do. just as well as Buddha and other people in the past. You know, they tried to bring awareness to people on, you know, not necessarily, it wasn't about the miracles and stuff. They were just trying, through knowledge, through talking to people, they were trying to get them to raise their own consciousness and let them know that there's more. But we have so much to go against. We have not only the governments and the people in power, but, you know, ourselves. Okay, so we have a lot to work against. So it's been amazing for me to learn these different things, really through the different philosophies, through the Vedas, which I study a lot. I even study the Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic tree of life. It's amazing. It's so complicated, it's not even funny, but it's very amazing to study. But when I study that in the Vedas, I see correlations. You know, the further you go back in history, the stuff starts, you know, it's just different languages, you know, so they're saying the same thing. So, and one of the things, I'm going to wrap up here in a second, one of the things that, so when I was a little kid and I used to hear about different things in the church, about God and, you know, in Genesis, about, you know, Adam and Eve and that story. I remember this one part where they said that God came in the garden and he was looking for Adam and he said, "Where are you? I can't, you know, where are you at?" or something like that. And strangely enough, as a little kid, to me, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. That's God, all present, all knowing. Even if he takes a human form, he's still going to know where Adam is. So why would that be in the Bible? So that kind of stuff is, you know, so you have an idea of why I started questioning things, because it just didn't make any sense. So when I study things like the Vedas and stuff, and in the Upanishads, I'll run across certain sayings or lines that just hit me very profoundly. And so this one is not related to the one I told you, but this one is about creation, and it's the simplest explanation about the beginning of creation, and it's just so powerful to me. This is from the Prajna Upanishad, and basically some students came to a teacher, and they wanted to learn, and he said, "Stay with me for a year, and after a year, ask me whatever question you want." And you hear this kind of thing, you know, back and forth in the Vedas and Vedic teachings. At the end of a year, Kandandi Katyana said, "Lord, who created all things?" The sage said, "The Creator, his mind's eye on the world, made a couple in meditation, life and matter, thinking they would do the rest." Now, to me, that's very profound. It's not detailed,